Hey guys, real quickly before the video begins, if you want to see another post-game analysis out later today, let's aim for 5 likes on this video. If we can hit 5 likes, one over some game, probably the Florida-Tennessee game will be the extra one that I'll do. I already plan on doing the Clemson-Louisville game, but I will, and probably the Texas-USC game. But the Tennessee-Florida game will be the extra one if we can hit 5 likes by tonight. So aim for that. Hey guys, what's up and welcome back to 8 Ball Sports. So Josh Rosen and the UCLA Bruins go into Memphis and come out with a loss, a 48-45 game, in which there are a lot of good things for both teams and a lot of bad things for both teams. And I guess we'll start off with Memphis. If I'm Memphis, I was very, very pleased with my offensive production. I wasn't necessarily pleased with the defensive side of the ball if I was a Memphis fan or a Memphis head coach or coach in general, but they're gonna let up points. Josh Rosen is one of the best quarterbacks in college football, and you knew he's gonna put up points. But your offense responded. Your quarterback threw 6 touchdowns. He threw for 398 yards, and he only turned the ball over once, at least one interception. Running the ball, you had Darrell Henderson with 105 yards on 14 carries. Now 80 of those came on 1 carry, so take away that's 13 for 25 yards. So not great production after that one big carry, but he did the job. Patrick Taylor, 39 yards rushing as well. And then receiving the ball, Anthony Miller had himself a day. It was really, you look at both sides, the receiving for both teams. They had one main receiver and then a few guys here and there that had a few other catches. But for Memphis, it was Anthony Miller who had 9 catches, 185 yards, and 2 touchdowns. And then for UCLA, Darren gotta check my facts real quick. Darren Andrews, 10 catches, 175 yards, and 1 touchdown. But yeah, Riley Ferguson, 23 for 38, 6 touchdowns. That is crazy. We'll get more into that and how, I guess, UCLA's defense later on in just a second. And then also receiving, Joey Magnifico was also magnificent. When I wrote down his name, I knew I was going to say something like that. But 6 catches, 83 yards, and a touchdown. Patrick Taylor had a 47-yard touchdown catch. Tony Pollard had a 42-yard touchdown catch. And then Phil Mayhew had 2 catches, 23 yards, and a touchdown. So Riley Ferguson looked like he was the quarterback that a lot of NFL people are really high on. And I'm not saying that Josh Rosen didn't, but Riley Ferguson looked great. He protected the ball pretty well. There were some throws that he missed, but there were some throws Rosen missed. Josh Rosen's day, 34 for 56, and we'll get more. I keep saying we'll get more into that later, but we'll talk about how many pass attempts that is. 463 yards, an insane day, 4 touchdowns, but 2 interceptions, one being a costly one, a 60-yard pick 6. And then running the ball, 77 yards for Olafumi on 13 carries. Rosen had a touchdown on 7 carries, and Jalen Starks also had a touchdown with 20 yards. So yeah, now I guess we'll talk about, that's the stats for the game. But what does this mean for both teams? For if I'm Memphis, I am liking where we're at. I think Memphis could be ranked. Now I know UCLA is not the best team. I think they were, maybe they're not the top of the Pac-12. I think we all knew that. But I think they were a top 25 team, at least in most people's eyes. And Memphis didn't come in, but they they got a home game and they proved that their offense can stay or can keep pace with the top offenses in college football. Their defense, I already kind of mentioned it, but they didn't look great. But you're not going to stop him. You kind of have to contain him, and that's what if I had advice for Clemson in tonight's game against Louisville, you cannot stop Lamar Jackson. He's too talented. He's too good. But if you can hold him to a decent performance and give your offense a chance to win the game, which I believe Clemson will do. I do have Clemson winning that game. Then I think that's the only way you're going to win the game is if you can just contain, which is kind of that's how you do kind of stop running quarterbacks is instead of trying to go for the sack, kind of just keep them in the pocket. You make them beat them with your arm. And I'm not saying necessarily do that, but I'm saying he'll have a few big plays here and there, but you have to limit the big plays. Something that Memphis's defense didn't do great, but they did enough of it to get the win. They let up 45 points and over 460 passing yards, though. Kind of random thing in the middle of the video. Yeah, I'm an Ohio State fan, so I'm sure probably someone's already commented something down, and if someone has, I'll respond with whatever time in the video this is. I'm an Ohio State fan. I love the sport of college football. Obviously, I was upset last week. No post-game analysis. I was just angry. Not angry, but I was just upset with Ohio State. I didn't feel like making any post-game analysis videos. Ohio State hasn't played yet today. They're coming on in about 10 minutes, so wrapping up this. But before you say, why are you making a post-game analysis on it if you don't like either of these teams? And my honest answer for that is I just love the sport of college football. I wake up at 11 and I watch college football all the way till the last Pac-12 game, which will come on at probably start at about 9:30. And normally, unless it's a bad game, I'll watch most of that. So the lack of defense for UCLA is a big thing that I wrote down here. The lack of defense. UCLA, we saw it against Texas A&M. The defense stepped up. Sorry, my cat just hopped up top of me. But the defense stepped up, but against Texas A&M, they did not today. Looking at the scoring, they were pretty much even, except for UCLA got a field goal in the second half, and Memphis had a touchdown. So both had 7 points in the first. UCLA 17 in the second, Memphis 20, and then 14 for both in the third, and 7 for both in the fourth. So an even game, except for a field goal and a touchdown for one, a field goal for one side and touchdown for one side. UCLA's defense did not look that impressive to me at all. I watched most of this game. There were some parts where I went to do something, I came back, and maybe someone had scored. But I watched most of this game, and they did not impress me with anything I saw. Now, I think it's partially because Memphis' offense is underrated, but I also think it's because that UCLA's defense is not good, and that without a good defense, you're not going to be able to win the Pac-12, and you're not going to be able to make it to a major bowl. And, I think Josh Rosen, bright future ahead of him, but you can't rely on him to win the game, which is what they started doing, which brings me to another topic about how UCLA went away from the run. I turned it back on, not back on, but I started kind of focusing more with about 5 minutes left to go in the third, and that was right after Rosen had thrown the pick six that would give Memphis a 10-point lead. And the announcers even mentioned it. They were talking about how basically that entire drive, Rosen threw the ball. There were the occasional runs, but only 13 rushing attempts for their running back. And he wasn't having a great day, but he was averaging about 5 yards a carry. Alexa, what's 77 divided by 13?
77 divided by 13 is 5.92.
5.9 yards a carry. And they only give him the ball 13 times. Which, if I'm Memphis, then you just tell your secondary be ready for the pass pretty much every play. You drop more people back in coverage because you know they're not going to run the ball. And if I'm a UCLA fan, I don't understand that. I understand you have a talented quarterback, but it's not like the running game wasn't working. It may not have been working as well as you wanted it to, but you have to keep the defense honest, which is something they didn't do in the third and fourth quarters. Even though the game was still tight, it was still a close game, they didn't do that, and that may have been one of the reasons they lost. I'm sure that's one of the many reasons why they lost this game. So that's probably going to be it for this post-game analysis video. If you guys enjoyed it, be sure to hit that thumbs up button. I'm probably going to put something at the beginning of this video talking about if we can hit 5 likes. I'll do a post-game analysis for the Florida-Tennessee game, so let's aim for that. If you're new to the channel, please hit that subscribe button. It really would mean a lot. We grew a lot during week 1 of college football. We gained a lot of new subscribers, had a lot of views, and so hopefully we can do that again for week 3 of college football. So comment your opinion down below. If you think UCLA still has a chance to win the Pac-12, say that. Or if you think Memphis is an underrated team. This is the 3rd year in a row they've beaten a top 25 team. So I think personally they are, and if you agree with me, then leave that down in the comment section below. I'd really like to hear your guys' thoughts, and I'll see you guys later.